Genesis chapter 4. Let's start with the notes here. I don't know what this chimishi thing in the margin is. Verse 3, Dalet Malwa. Verse 4, Beit Rapah. Verse 8, Blah Pascha. And verse 23, Wow Nacha. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I've gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto God as a noun and verb. And Abel, he also brought the firstling of his flock, and of the fat thereof. And God as noun and verb had respect unto Abel, and to his offering. And Abel, spelt with a hey there, means to lead astray, something transitory, something unsatisfying. Vain, while Cain means something fixed, a lance. And it's interesting, Cana becomes the name, and that means beating of the breasts, but we've seen this meaning something that's not entirely in the story. But unto Cain and to his offspring he had not respect, and Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And God as a noun and verb said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? Behold, if thou doest well, thou wilt be accepted. If thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, and its desire is unto thee, but thou canst rule over it. And Cain talked with Abel his brother. And it came to pass, when they were in the field, and Cain rose up against Abel his brother, and slew him. And God as a noun and verb said unto Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth, to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. And Cain said unto God as noun and verb, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out of this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that every one that findeth me shall slay me. And God as a noun and verb said unto him, Therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And God as a noun and verb set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. And Cain went out from the presence of God as a noun and verb, and dwelt in the land of Nod, on the east of Eden. Now, what, you'd have to mark somebody in order for them not to be killed, but everybody else is okay. What's the deal with that? Well, not everybody else, but you know what I mean. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch. And he builded a city, and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. And unto Enoch was born Irad, and Irad begat Mehujael. And Mehujael, there's no J sound in that language, but we're going to hear begat Methuselah. Methusael, and Methusael begat Lamech, and Lamech took unto him 2 wives. The name of the one was Adah, and the name of the other Zillah. And Adah bare Jabal. He was the father of such as dwell in tents, and of such as have cattle. And his brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all such as handle the harp and organ. And Zillah, she also bare Tubal-Cain, an instructor of every artificer in brass and iron. And the sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. And Lamech said unto his wives, Adah and Zillah, hear my voice, ye wives of Lamech, hearken unto my speech, for I have slain a man to my wounding, and a young man to my hurt. If Cain shall be avenged 7-fold, truly Lamech 70 and 7-fold. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son, and called his name Seth. For God, said she, hath appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. And to Seth, to him also there was born a son, and he called his name Enosh. And then began men to call upon the name of God as a noun and verb. So we see a couple names in here, Cain and Anush, which kind of relate to the goetic entities, right? That later myth system. And Enoch, well, different Enoch. But Adam yada at chwah ashtu what her what lud at qayin what amr kaniti aish at Yahweh what sub leldat at achu at Hubble, Wihi, Hubble, Rah, San, Wakin, Hya, Abd, Atma, Wihi, Makats, Yum, Weba, Qain, Mapri, Hatma, Mancha, Liahwah, Wahabal, Habya, Gum, Hwa, Mabkrut, Tlanu, Wam, Chil, Bahan, Wisha, Yahweh, Al Hubble, Wal Mun, Chatu, Wal Qain, Wal Mun Chatu, La Shah, Weecher, Lakin, Mad, Weeplu, Panu, We Amr, Yahweh Al Qain, Lamah, Chara, Lak Wal Mah. Waplu, Pnik, Halwa Tithib Shat Wat La Tithib Laptach Shathat Rabats Walik Tashuktu Wata Tamshul Bu We Amr Qayn Al Habal Achu Wihi Bahiyutam Bashta Wikam Qayn Al Habal Achu We Hergahu We Amr Yahweh Al Qayn A Habal Ahik We Amr La Yadati Hashmer Achi Anki We Amr Mah Ashit Gol Demi Achik Sakin Ali Man Hatma Wata Arur Ata Man Hatma Asher Putsta At Pya Lakchat At Demi At Cheat Midak Ki Tabad At Hatma La Tasath Tat Ketcha Lak Na Wand Tahya Barts We Amr Qayn Al Yahweh Gadul Auni Manshwa Han Rashid Atihiyum Mal Pani Had Mah Wam Panik Aster Wahiyati Na Wand Barts Wahya Kul Matsay Yahragni Yamar Lu Yahweh Lakin Kul Herg Qain Shabbat Tin Yakamu Yasham Yahweh Lakin Out Labalati Hakut Atu Kul Matzau Witza Qain Malpani Yahweh Wishab Barts Nud Qadmat Adan Wida Qain At Ashtu Wathar Watlad At Chinook Wihi Bana Ayer Wigra Shum Higher Kushum Banu Chinook We Wold Lechnook At Ayrud Wayrud Yield At Machuyal Wam Chiyal Yield At Matushal Wum tu shal yield at lamuk wikach lu lamuk shati nashim shum hatchet ada washum hashneet salah watlad ada at yibal wa hiyah abi yashib akhalu makna washim achiyu yubal huwa hya abi kul tipish kanur walgab watsla gum huwa yilda at tubal qain lafish kul church nutshit wab rizzle watchut tubal qain nama we amr lamuk lanshu ada watsla shaman quli nashi lamuk hasna amrati ki aish hargati liptsai Weelad lechberti ki shibatim iqam qain walmuk shibayim washbah wida adam aud at ashtu watlad bun what ra at shamu shamki shutli alhim sra achur tachet habal ki hargu qain wal shit nam huwa yield bun wikra at shamu anush as huchel lakra bashim yahwa. Now nama could have been a different nama, but it could have been a decision of the later rabbinical traditions to redo the story in some way, right? But just like we have particular generations and symbolic numbers, which if you actually look up the numbers, you'll find out different meanings that aren't numbers. And I'm not just talking about using gematria and finding things with the same number value either, but anything like that actually technically works, right? Because you could have used anything in place of, those numbers. But you see certain mythological things work into things, the 4 daughters, well, who are the other daughters?